Right. I'm just gonna go for a walk. You guys are gonna come check some of these places out with me. But while I'm on this little walk, I wanted to tell you all the truth, some of the deepest truth about what this life is really like. Um, and why do I keep saying, today? Where I go? I just walk. What's here? Anything? Nothing? Akon. Um, so just kind of like the truths of what my life is really like. So I left the United States with a little under $2,000. And my homelessness situation wasn't exactly over, but I found a way to kind of be in a very safe place at the time so I could focus on my book and my writing. Just that I can't. And so it was really important for me to just like focus on the book. And in the last chapter of the book, I talk about when I was in Lake Atitlán in Guatemala, I got my answer, so to speak, or why I left. Oh, this street is noisy. Let's go down the other one. But why I left Guatemala in the first place was because I received my answer, but then I also knew that I had to be safe. And perhaps the way I was traveling before was a bit unstable. Just because when you're volunteering at hostels, some hostels, the people don't have money themselves, or they're stressed, or there's some kind of like situation where they're uneasy, and your emotions can be kind of shaky too when you don't have as much money. And so when you're kind of like in a stable place, you're a little bit more chill. So it was like kind of jumping from one frying pan to another, and I just said, I got what I wanted. I got what I came here for, so now it's time to go. And it became like harder because I was working all these jobs and I have all this education, and in Seattle it was like it's a technology hub. So the jobs I was working, like I said in my previous video, after the eclipse, I was getting every bartending job I could find. I was bartending at the Showbox. I was serving at Gordon Biersch. I was just doing service jobs. And so it just became just overwhelming because the turnover is so much. But I knew that I needed to spend all my energy inside of just like writing this book. So then it came down to my lease expiring, and I only had a little bit of money. And I said, with this money, I can like put a down payment on an apartment and stay another year in like rainy, gloomy Seattle, or I can see what I can do to like try to make things work out for myself. So I bought a ticket to Thailand with the products that I started, which is the back brace that you guys see now. This street might be noisy, but let's see. And then with those products, I knew I had kind of had a head start ahead of the people that were coming to Thailand to like start a business but didn't know what they were doing. And I had a book, so there was like kind of a lot happening, and I just had just enough money to continue to do the things that I love, because I felt that in Seattle, although I was working, it was just too gloomy to be writing about some of the darkest parts of my life, and I was kind of over that part. So it was just like necessary for me to it's a bit noisy. It was necessary for me to talk about things that were more enlightening for me in a place that I was happiest, and that's usually a culture of color. So I came to Thailand to see how long the money that I had could stretch while pouring it into my business. So not only was I staying in one place, I was continuing to travel. And I'm learning a new language and things like that. That's the truth. But there are some times where other people who are just traveling, this is like a vacation for them. This is not exactly their way of life. So when you encounter them, either you're in an apartment and they don't really, like, all they do is work, and then they call themselves living abroad, and they like spend more time in the office all day, and then maybe they have one or two friends. I live a different type of lifestyle. So sometimes there's currency changes. So like the acculturation, let's see, it's a bit loud here too. Let me just pause it. So the acculturation process was a bit different for me, like just in that yeah, the acculturation process was a bit different for me, just in that I was learning a new language. I was learning Thai. I had new friends, or like navigating new lands. That is so exciting for me. And I was just like, oh, I can take the load off finally. So it just, it became harder than what I thought it was gonna be at the time where I got mugged. And then it got hard when I like kind of checked my bank account a couple times and I had less than $100, and I'm pouring all my money into my business. So the truth is, I'm doing card readings to kind of get around. I'm doing coaching, like life coaching, to help other people while I'm doing my own like 10-year plan, and I take coachings from different coaches as well. I want to help other people find themselves free. And sometimes it's sad when like you really want to enjoy yourself and you don't have as much money, and like everyone travels for their own different reasons. And so every day they can spend $50 on this experience or that experience. And so it just gets like, you're like, you wish you could have that experience, and then you, it's just been hard for me personally because I did some work in the United States, and after several months, there's some companies that have not paid me, and so I'm waiting. And I'm waiting for that. It's just not easy. This entrepreneurial life is a lot of work personally. It is a lot of, it's hard because only you are doing it. You are responsible for your success and for any problems that arise, for any delays that happen. You are ultimately responsible. So that's hard. And then financially, that's also another piece. And then like making sure the business is being run, and also making like delivering this very emotional piece where your soul is on a page to the world. And so continuing to travel and having like being on a very restricted budget, but knowing that there is no other way to do it, feels a bit hard. So I did another video, I think months ago, called Signs You Were Meant to Pave Your Own Way. And usually those of us who are entrepreneurs, those of us who don't like to take instruction from other people, some people call it the new rich class, those who are traveling, nomads, whatever you want to, independent thinkers, millennials, whatever you want to call the people who need to make their own path, It's just been it's a different kind of experience for those of us. And let me just say myself. So when paving your own way, you know you can't really like hold a job because the system is messed up, right? It's not you. It's like you want me to do all of this. I'm not getting adequate training, or the training I have is being conflicted by 3 or 4 different people. And you're telling me to do one thing, somebody else is telling me to do another, then you're upset. It's just because your business is not functioning the right way. So honestly, it's been hard. There's been a few times I've cried. Like it's hard, you know. And it's gonna work out. It's hot. It's gonna work out, but it just sometimes it's the journey, and every single step is like an entire roller coaster. And so because it's so intense and it's just like up and down, side to side, it's exhausting. And so and just kind of like always being in a new place, and sometimes having people that can understand and not exactly understand, and it's all just you. It's this is the truth of how it is, but it's always going to be okay. So yeah, so right now I'm volunteering at this place called White Rabbit Hostel, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Like all I do is just like socialize with guests, and I get free drinks and all the meals that I want all day, and just like play games with them and leave.